All right, so unfortunately, this was not supposed to be the first video in the series. Our plan originally was we were going to do two matches, one where Ryan played Otters and I played Prowess. Then we talked about it, did a game review, VOD review, and then made some changes, and then switched where I was on Otters and Ryan was on Prowess. It turns out that the first video had some technical issues that I've been trying really hard and I'm unable to fix. And so what we're going to start with today is the side where I play Otters. And so I'm just going to catch you up a little bit. We played a match of Otters versus Prowess where we learned that, it's very similar to the red matchups, that Otters is like really struggles if the Prowess deck is on the play, but is able to kind of keep up and do things if the Otters deck is on the play. I went and I changed the list a little bit. I thought that maybe adding two abrades instead of dissection tools would help a little bit more, because it would give us a little bit more early interaction, gave us a way to deal with Corey Steelcutter. And so now we are playing another match where I play the Otter side and Ryan plays the Prowess side. With those changes, Ryan had a slightly different list, and then we kind of did this video. And so that's what happened in the first testing session. And so this is kind of what our testing sessions look like, and I'm hoping it is helpful.
All right, hello everybody, and welcome to the next edition of the test prep video. We talked about how we prepared for tournaments, and we started looking at those games yesterday, and today we're going to continue that. So today I have Ryan again. Ryan, would you like to introduce yourself?
Hello, hello. I'm Ryan. I'm still Nicole's Sanctum teammate and still one of her main testing partners. We're testing for this RC and it's been fun so far. I'm kind of just starting to dive into it. And yeah, it's been good.
Yeah, so today we have learned from the testing we did yesterday, and we're going to keep working on this Otters versus Prowess matchup. Today, I'm going to play the Otter side, and Ryan is going to play the Prowess side. What's nice about this is now, I know what the other side looks like, and so it'll kind of help me when I'm trying to maneuver around my turns with this Otters deck. We are also going to try a slight sideboard change. We're going to try some braids to see if we're on the draw, if that helps the matchup at all. And so what we will also do is we'll make sure that it is seated so that Ryan goes first. And from there we'll just see how it goes. I'll see you guys for the games. All right, so going into our match, I'm just gonna, before we do this, look at Ryan's deck. I want to make sure I'm using this time well, and I want to be playing around as many things that I can be because this tournament is open deck list. And so first, I'm gonna look at the main deck. I'm gonna look at the removal suite, and there are 5 spells that deal 2 damage. And so the first thing I think about is, when I go to sideboard, maybe like the slick shot show offs or worse or something, because this removal is particularly good into that. And there is also a fiery annihilation, which is definitely a card directed at targeting the slick shot show off deck. And I'm not going to forget about this flood pitch drowner. And then going into the sideboard, it looks like this dissection tools is typically for aggro decks. It's probably coming in pyroclasms, this burst lightning, and that and pick your poisons are probably coming in to deal with both flying creatures, artifacts, all of those things. And so those are things I'm just going to consider going into our first match. Okay, so here we are for game number 1. We are on the draw as intended, and I think we may need to keep this hand. I'm worried it's too slow, but with town ain't big enough, presuming we find a way to cast spells, I feel like we might not have an option to mulligan to something better, but at the same time, I'm a little nervous this doesn't interact enough to win the game. Also, town ain't big enough is only like a temporary solution, unless it's a token, and I don't know if Enduring Vitality is going to be good enough. I think I'm going to mulligan for something better. This hand's a little bit awkward, but I think if we've asked for interaction, this is it. I don't know whether it's better to bottom Song or Storm Chaser's talent. I'm incentivized to not bottom the Song just because we have a mountain. I don't want to bottom stock up because I think that's kind of like the way we get out of this after removing the creatures. And so I'm just going to give this a shot. Island. Okay, that's good. And look, we got a land drop. Good news for us. Okay, River Pyre Verge. Drake Catcher. You know, it being a 1/3, definitely not ideal. But we have two options on how to deal with it being a 1/3. We can song for one and then torch it next turn, or we can just use 2 torches. And I think I'm going to song for one. I also have a feeling we may need the scry from the torch the tower. But maybe we also just want to, like, get it off the field. Okay, I think I'm just going to kill it. I'm a little nervous that, you know, it's going to make a dragon and do all sorts of stuff, and I don't really like doing this, but I don't know how many options we're going to get. We need to try to keep damage off our face so that we can draw the island we need to cast the rest of our spells. Opt. Okay. So, that likely means that Ryan is looking for action. That they don't have, like, creatures or things to start applying pressure. The good news for that, on that for us, from our front, is we can cast our stock up. We drew our island, and that is great news. And so, I think we probably want this Enduring Vitality, and I don't think we want any more lands. With Storm Chaser's talent, the Enduring Vitality is kind of nice. And then I'm thinking we take Town to have, you know, some form of interaction. The other option is that Questing Druid, but I think I like taking the Town and having some form of interaction instead. And so, you know, if there's not too much pressure applied to us here, we might just be able to, like, song for 3. Monastery Swift Spear. Oh, that is a form of pressure, but we are at 20. That is the nice part about our double spelling to remove the Draycatcher. Ah, no, that's a little scarier. Big Swift Spear. Okay, we did draw another Towning big enough. So I'm trying to consider our options. We could just play the Vitality and the Talent this turn. That's bad into... I think our Ryan's deck didn't have Torch the Towers in the main deck. I don't think. I'm gonna double check. Yeah, so there's no Torch the Towers in the main deck. So that means kind of good things for playing our Enduring Vitality this turn, maybe? I think I just want to start setting up. The nerve-wracking part about casting Song is, you know, we don't really have a whole lot. I guess we can use our Storm Chaser's talent level up. Okay, I think this is going to be my plan. So I'll cast Storm Chaser's talent. And I will play Enduring Vitality. And then next turn, we can make some rats. I think will be my plan. Ryan did also hold up 2 mana. That likely means that, you know, there's like some flooding issues or like wanting to keep enough spells to keep double spelling or something. You know, triggering Prowess in their hand. Into the Floodmaw. That's a little rude. But I guess it could be worse. I don't like the hover. But I don't know. It's probably just counting. Maybe there's another Into the Floodmaw? Yeah, that's rather unfortunate for us. We're gonna take a lot of damage. And it's gonna set us back a fair amount. Okay, Burst Lightning definitely useful. It does kill one of the Swift Spears. And now there's no spell. So I think if we play Enduring Vitality and we Burst Lightning this Swift Spear, we may have a chance to kind of stabilize here. So I'm going to do just that. Again, you know, doing it proactively so we don't have to worry about any sort of prowess triggers. You know, if we're just passing, then there's not too much concern there, but... Okay, we're leveling up Storm Chaser's talent. to get back the opt. And I do think we're just going to take 3 here. I kind of want to leave my vitality as a creature. Okay. So if we song, we get 3 creatures. But they have haste, and we won't be able to tap them for mana on Ryan's turn. We can buy back Torch the Tower and kill this Swift Spear. And I think I kind of like that. It does require us tapping out, so like we do lose to some number of things. We could also play a little safer. We could cast like Town, bounce the Otter, and like make an Otter. But then we can't, we don't have blue to... Oh, we could make another blue by using Song. So we could tap like red and green and make a rat. Then we can tap the rat and 1 to cast Town on the Storm Chaser's talent and the Otter. Does that help? We make a rat, rat 1. Then we can hold up another town ain't big enough. Or we can play the Storm Chaser's talent. I don't know if playing Song for 1 feels like my winning line. But holding up Town feels like kind of our safest of options here. The thing is, if we town anything, we should be towning the Storm Chaser's talent, and then... if we town the Storm Chaser's talent, then we kind of also want to be able to town the Swift Spear. And... or like, to play the Storm Chaser's talent, and we're not going to be able to do that. Maybe killing the Swift Spear is just our safest option. Then, you know, like... there's not, I think, too much we lose to. It also doesn't really help us develop. It also gets rid of our Storm Chaser's talent, which is, like, minorly a cause for concern. Okay, I think I'm gonna settle on Town. I guess I don't need to do this proactively at all if I'm... oh, we won't have anything to town the second time if we do this. So if we song for 3, we can town the Otter and the talent, play the talent, get an Otter, and then we have a blocker. And it develops our board. I think that's our best bet. Okay, that's what I'm gonna do. This turn's hard. Cast the talent. Let's play this Tarnation Fist on blue. So we don't have as many blue source problems, and we'll play we'll attack with the Vitality. And now, you know, like, we at least have a lot of mana going into our following turn. Ooh. So Spear not ideal. Second creature not really what we wanted to see. I'm gonna pay a lot of attention to see whether this gets topped or bottomed. Because if it's topped, it likely means we're losing the game. And if it gets bottomed, you know, we can hope to live another day and make our decisions based off of that. It is kind of interesting. The next turn, we can kind of just, like, attack with everything. 6, 7, and then just bounce 2 things. Which is kind of fun. Not sure that's better than, you know, some of our other options, but it is fun. The lines from here get really, really incredibly complicated on the Otter side. And so... okay, it was bottomed. There was a lot of thought into it, though, so I wonder... okay, another cantrip's not really what we want to see. Especially because this has trample, so, like, we're probably going to need to block the 4/5 anyway. Only the 4/5 is attacking. That might mean that Ryan is like a little nervous about dying. I don't want to leave myself dead to a burst lightning though. So I do think I'm gonna block. We could consider a double block. No, it's a 4-4. That doesn't help us. Or 4-5. So I think I'm gonna block with the vitality, just so we don't die to burst lightning. Although, maybe we could assume there wasn't. Oh, we could assume there wasn't a burst lightning because we would have died. That's okay. 4 is a healthier life total anyway. So, Tarnation Vista puts us up 1 mana. We have literally, like, so many options. I have no idea what to do with all of our choice. We could also buy back Stock Up and cast it. Like, seems kind of reasonable. We could cast Songcrafter Mage. And then... Ooh, when something gets harmonized, can you pay X? Like, if I cast Songcrafter Mage, does it let me then again song for 3 or something? I'm gonna ask Ryan. That's my guess. You can use X to help cast it. I don't see why you wouldn't be able to cast X from your graveyard, right? That's how Nature's Rhythm works. Okay, I'm convinced we're gonna be able to do it. So, if we tap Tarnation Vista, it would make green, blue, black. And then we can song... Okay, let's try this. So, this makes green, blue, black. We can make red. To play this Songcrafter Mage. I wonder if this is just, like, not progressing our game. Maybe, like, we're just getting Torch. But maybe I don't want to do that proactively. It's so hard. We could just, like, level up Storm Chaser's talent. I'm gonna do that, I think. Okay, let's start by leveling up our Storm Chaser's talent. And I think we want to get a removal spell. Let's take Torch the Tower. Now, I think I want to cast the Torch, bargaining, killing the 1/2, sacrificing this rat. Just make sure it dies. Analyze the pollen. Okay, that is a way to win the game. Let's leave that there. And then this leaves us with Songcrafter Mage and Town Ain't Big Enough up. Which Songcrafter Mage might just be enough. So I think I'm just gonna pass. This is so hard. Oh, stock up's very good. Hopefully with the quantity of blockers we have and the amount of mana we can spend on spells, we should be okay. Oh, we could have Songcrafter Maged and harmonized stock up. That might have been nice. This deck's way too hard. I couldn't do this for 9 rounds. My head hurts. I have, like, no idea. There's just so many game options. Alright, Storm Chaser's talent. Makes an otter. Another Storm Chaser's talent. Makes another otter. Pass to attackers. Let's cast Songcrafter Mage. Giving the town ain't big enough. Harmonize. And let's cast it. Tapping Songcrafter Mage to reduce. And returning the Swift Spear and an Otter. Okay. Oh! I have made an error. Now we can't analyze. Unless we cast the town. But I kind of want the option to have the town. Oh, I screwed up. Now what do I do? I can go to level 3 and just start, like, making otters. If I do that, I'm gonna town... I can town this creature. Just, like, attack for 6 and then hold up town for 5. It's, like, not so unreasonable, right? We could town the Otter and the Storm Chaser's talent. Which leaves us with 1 remaining mana. And then play the Storm Chaser's talent. We're having an issue where we're running into blue again. Man, Magic the Gathering is so hard. Alright, I'm gonna attack and hold up town for 5. And that might not be good enough. I should have left a creature back. Because then if there were 3 creatures, I was okay. Yeah, I should have left a creature back. Hopefully we can survive. Yeah, and I kind of want my Songcrafter Mage to die. I should have not attacked with Songcrafter Mage. This is not very good. This is gonna be an interesting game log review, to say the least. Oh, there's so many decisions. I'm so over it. Oh boy, I think we're really dead to that. I guess not really dead. Bounce 2 things. Man, if we didn't... Alright, I think we should have won this game. This is gonna be a good one for the game log review. Okay, alright, sideboarding. My brain hurts. Okay, so our goal was to bring in more removal and see if that was enough. I think I want to be sideboarding things out that are, like, on the slower side. Do we need this Flood Caller? I think we don't need these songs. Seems kind of bad. Probably don't need this Songcrafter Mage. And then I think we're taking out, like, the stock-ups in the Valley Flood Caller. Yeah, I think this is gonna be my configuration, and we'll see how it goes. I am definitely not feeling hopeful about my ability to play this deck to the highest level. I have made a lot of errors. My head hurts. Alright, we get to be on the play for game 2. This thing looks great. You know, it's got things. It interacts. I think I want to play my top lane on turn 1. Probably on red. That gives me some options. Okay. Tarnation is on red, and that gives me, like, the option of whether I want to play, like, Storm Chaser's Talent, Torch, or, like, a Braid. We could also consider playing, like, the Botanical Sanctum and then the Copperline Gorge and then playing a tap land, but I think I want to front load it. Like, I don't think we're going to get a whole lot of, like, extra damage. Swift Spear. I think because of the Swift Spear, I'm going to Talent Torch. Yeah. That'll also get us a creature on the field for, or sorry, talent on the field for the town ain't big enough. So we definitely have more interaction, so that'll tell us, you know, how useful it is. I'm a little worried about our ability to close out the game with our interaction. First lighting our otter. Oh, no land drop. Well, this is gonna be an interesting game now, won't it? Our hand is all interaction, so when Ryan can't play anything, then, you know, having the interaction's not so, so useful. Alright, let's see what Ryan's got for us. A Drake Catcher that I am going to just go ahead and kill. I absolutely don't want to deal with that card. It causes so many problems. Ooh. Quarry Steel Cutter. Well, this lets us start, you know, making some game actions. We can, like, Steel Cutter and then Town and pick up the talent. Makes creatures. I don't know if that's what we want to use our Town on, though. What if we, like, just buy back our removal spell? I think I like that more. Okay, I think I want to just buy back our removal spell. Think the Abrade. Abrade is just a little bit more flexible than Torch. Having a 1-mana spell, like, very much could be relevant here, but... Swifty Spear. Okay. Another land drop. Storm Chaser's Talent. Okay. Ooh, Enduring Vitality. Well, that's kind of nice. Am I concerned about dying at all? Because if I'm not, I kind of just want to play Steel Cutter into Vitality. I don't think I'm, like, concerned at all about dying. I'm not. Steel Cutter into Vitality. Equip. And then we can decide whether we want to attack for 2 here, or... I think I don't want to. If there's, like, an Into the Floodmaw or something, I kind of want to represent, like, you know, damage and possibly have more blocks. I just don't think the 2 damage is what we're going to win by. And so I want to kind of present, you know, that as a thought process for Ryan. Maybe it makes them play around something that they wouldn't have otherwise. Stock up. Okay, well, that's definitely not the worst for us. River Pyre Verge. Certainly there's another spell. Oh, is it Burst Lightning? Certainly Ryan won't Burst Lightning. Read into my bluff. Damn. Gotta make him, you know, rumble in the seat. Yeah, and if it's just 3, I think I'm fine with that. I don't really care. I have a feeling Ryan's gonna attack with both, but... No, okay. I'll just take 3. Another Vitality. Okay, so we can take lots of game actions. I think I want to Town the Otter and Talent and play Talent as kind of like my first venture. That means that we do lose out on... Oh no, because the steel cutter will be able to tap for blue. Yeah, we have to tap the Tarnation Vista for blue first. I think that's okay. So let's do this. Town, the Otter, and our Storm Chasers talent. Let's play our Storm Chasers talent. And then... we can just buy something back here. Just, like, buy back the town. Doesn't seem so bad. We could also buy back the torch, attack and kill the Swift Spear. I kind of like that. But we already have the Abrade. From 13, I'm a little nervous we'll take too much damage. We could also just play this other Enduring Vitality and then, you know, attack for 3 and pass. I kind of like that. It leaves up the Abrade. Okay, I'm gonna do that. We're gonna play this other Enduring Vitality before we lose the mana. Go to combat, attack for 3. And pass. I wonder what we're holding up. It feels like Ryan's draws have been a lot slower and not nearly as explosive as my last ones. But I also don't know how much, like, Drake Catcher has to do with that. Okay, Core Steel Cutter is definitely always a scary card, but, you know, we did leave this way to remove it here, and so I think I am just gonna go do that. We will still have, you know, 2 blockers here, and we get a Prowess trigger on our Otter. Unfortunately, you do have to wait for a spell to be cast to kill it, so they do still get the monk, but it's not quite as scary as if it had, you know, +1/+1 in haste. So now, I mean, Ryan can attack. I think I would double block. It's bad into exactly Monstrous Rage. Is there anything else it's bad into? Floodmaw, I guess? I don't know. I think if Ryan's casting the spell to do something here, we're rather happy about it. And I'm not terribly worried on if these 2 creatures die. But, you know, this does make it so that Ryan, you know, 1, I take less damage, but now has 1 less card in hand, which I think is, you know, not nothing. Town, another great draw. So our Tarnation Vista taps for 4. It's kind of spicy, isn't it? So we can tap this to buy back something. Maybe the Abrade? You know, we already do have this town. That does make replaying Storm Chaser's talent a little weird, but I don't know how much that matters. I wonder if we just, like, win the game. No way, right? Cast 2 spells. What if we get, like, another town? No, we just don't have enough blue sources. Okay, I think I'm gonna get a Braid. We just have to tap the monk for this. That's a little annoying. I don't know if I like this. If we're tapping the monk anyway, maybe we just want a town. Town recast Storm Chaser's talent. I think I like that. There's just so many ways I can maneuver this game, and I don't like the way I've handled any of them. So this will make another monk. And I think leaving up our otter as a blocker is enough. So I'm gonna attack and then abrade the Swift Spear. Gives an extra point of damage. I have way too many options. If we lose this game, it like certainly must be my fault. So this will be a very useful VOD review. I will not block. Ah. Spooky, scary. Alright, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, I think we got there. Do this. Spy back torch, it doesn't matter. Torch. Kill this. Cast talent. Get a bunch of things. And this is a way of performing lethal game actions. Oh, my brain hurts. I hope we're all having fun considering these game actions. I think I like the way I sideboarded. This felt pretty good, I think. Like having the abrades was kind of nice. The other slot we talked about this being was dissection tools, and like every time this was a braid, it was much better in this matchup. So, you know, for what it's worth. Oh, there's so many game actions. Buckle up. We've got a VOD review ahead of us. Okay. So Ryan is on the play, and I am nervous. I feel like we should keep it. Like, Storm Chasers into Vitality is pretty good. Remember, we have the equivalent of 26 land sources in our deck between lands and all the things that search lands, and we have a Pyroclasm. This is a very, very risky mulligan, but I feel like the upside is kind of high. I'm gonna try it. Ryan's gonna yell at me. Ryan's gonna be like, this was not responsible at all. But like, we have 25 additional land sources. We're like 50% to draw a land source. 50% to draw one in the first card, and then we have 2 more, you know, we get another card before we possibly have to draw it. I guess it doesn't matter what color it is. But like, any tap land is fine. Hopefully it's okay. We do at some point need to draw 2, which is a little concerning. I have a feeling Ryan's gonna yell at me. I think we're just gonna draw lands and it's gonna be great. I'm tired because it's so difficult. Do you guys like my new camera? So fun fact, I've owned a DSLR camera since I was in like middle school. And I hadn't been able to, until this point, figure out how to use it as like a webcam. But I finally figured it out. So, you know, I hope you're enjoying all this lovely camera quality that we've got going on here. We have Ryan really thinking on a 5. Oh, I didn't even notice we went to 5. Swift Spear. Okay, well. It's a creature. That's not a land. Although any land makes this, you know, likely to help us find another one. Ryan did go to 5. Or a steel cutter. A little nerve-wracking. For sure. Guys, we're so good at magic. So now what do we want to do? We have so many options. I feel like we want to get Thunder Trap. And try to start finding things. Although, Pyroclasm off of our Otter is a little awkward. But, like, what are the chances Ryan has 2 spells from here? Probably decently high. And Thunder Trap helps us get more creatures into play for Enduring Vitality. I think I like Thunder Trap Trainer here. Okay. Certainly we should be taking the Analyze. It's the safest one, I think. I also think we're going to be, like, kind of okay to Analyze and then Pyroclasm, if need be, to, like, kill things. I don't really want to lose our whole board, but if we don't draw the land to play the Enduring Vitality, then that might be the best option. Equip. Where's the nice button? Alright, let's take 2. A land! Oh, this went so well for us. I feel like we really deserve to be punished. I do think I want to play our Steel Cutter. Maybe I'm playing Steel Cutter Analyze to get a land. It makes our following turn a little nicer. And I think from this point we are the aggro. What land do we want? I didn't consider this. We have 2 blue. I think we just want more blue. Maybe this is the trauma of last game, but... Do I want to leave a 1/2 to block? I don't think so. Let's leave the 1/2. No. Let's not. I think we're fine. Let's just attack. Hiya! Ryan couldn't possibly have that much because there's not a double spell last turn. So I feel like we can just try to kill them before they, you know, are able to stabilize. Another Swift Spear. Nice. Okay. Certainly we should be able to win the game. What does that look like? Vitality Talent is 2 spells to make creatures with Steel Cutter. I think I want to start there. This will also give us some nice prowess triggers. From here, what do we want to do? We have 4 mana available. If we Pyroclasm, Ryan loses 1 Swift Spear, and we lose Thunder Trap and an Otter, so that doesn't seem very good. Seems a little awkward. We can put our Steel Cutter on, like, Vitality, make a bigger attack. It's, I think, technically more damage, right? Or maybe not. We could also play another Enduring. Which gives us another blocker. I kind of like that. But how much damage is this? 7, 9... Or sorry, 2, 4, 5, 6, 7. If we cast another spell, then it's 6, 7, 8, 9 damage. But our only additional spell to cast is Pyroclasm. Which I don't like. I think I just want to play this Enduring. Attack for 2. And then win the game next turn. It doesn't feel like there's a road to death from our side, I don't think. You know, like, what's the scariest thing? 2 monstrous rages, which triggers this, and then, like, you know, great. Probably, like, cantrip monstrous rage, monstrous rage. Yeah, I am definitely gonna make some blocks. You know, I think if we don't make blocks, that's, like, how we lose the game. And I'm kind of fine with both of our creatures getting eaten here, I think. That might have been bad. Is there another spell? Another spell would trample over for an additional 2. So right now we're taking 2. Another spell would have us take 4, and it would make another thing. Oh no, we would take the same amount if Corey Steelcutter gets moved over. It is a little weird that our only spell we can get is Analyze off of our Storm Chaser's talents. The draw of, like, Vitality into Vitality into Vitality has been a little clunky. But hopefully it's okay. Any one additional spell I feel like is kind of nice. Okay, it's Burst Lightning. Does just make a 1/1. And then we take 4. This is kind of scary. I also think we would have been dead if we didn't block. Ooh. Blood Pits is not a spell, but it's kind of nice. Casting 2 spells this turn is very difficult. If not impossible. Can we... Man, casting 2 spells, like, we would solidly win the game here. But because we don't have the prowess triggers, casting Pyroclasm's, like, impossible. So if we pay 4 to get back Analyze, and then we play Analyze with this Thundertrap Trainer, that pumps all these guys and makes another guy. Then we have 1, 2, 3 guys, all of which are 2/2s. If we tap these 2 to Pyroclasm, it makes them 3/3s. And then we're 2 points off of lethal. So that does not work. Also, Pyroclasm doesn't kill the Swift Spears. There is no spell. So, like, maybe we just play Enduring Vitality, make some attacks, and hold up Floopy. I feel like I like that. Pyroclasm has been so incredibly awkward in this game. So we need to leave up a creature for our Floopy. I think this is good. This leaves us with 3 blockers and gives us lethal next turn. A possible trade? I was gonna say, I feel like that's not a winning line. Alright, Ryan's best draw is a cantrip. Because it's like Ryan's one way of double spelling. I feel like it's not a cantrip because it hasn't been played yet. Makes me kind of nervous it's like Monstrous Rage. Which is kind of scary. But I think we lived through it just fine. Oh, I didn't think about the fact that we lost another creature. It's better to tap the one with the roll because it stops the moving over of Corey Steelcutter in the case of a double spell, I think. Alright. Let it all resolve. I want to cast Pyroclasm. No, I want to cast that after. Oh, I forgot to... Hold on, I need to tap my Floopy for mana. Oh, I didn't tap my Floopy for mana. I just love clicking buttons on the last turn. Alright, I will see you guys for the VOD review. Alright, welcome back for the game log review. I just talked to Ryan for a bit, and I think we've decided we're going to do only game one. The match took a while, but also this game was incredibly complicated, and I think that it is going to be plenty to get the point across.
Any game from the Otters side is going to be incredibly complicated.
I've been recovering from how bad my brain hurt. After we finished, I was like, I need a break before we look at this game again. Okay, so I think that those games felt a little different. Game 2, I think a braid was good. Like, I played a braid, and I would have been upset if it was dissection tools. And I think Drake-Catcher was both scarier, but also not nearly as scary as Slingshot Show Off. Like, it was worse into the removal spells, but it also, like, didn't push nearly as much damage as Slingshot Show Off did, which I felt like kind of gave me a chance to stabilize a little more. And so those were my thoughts before we got into, like, this specific game.
Yeah, I think there's definitely something to that. I also think that, like, generally in this match, every single game, I did not have a nearly as explosive of a draw as you had, I think, in all of the games in the previous match. Or at least if I'm forgetting one, maybe not. But yeah, basically this was a match where Prowess had to be a lot more grindy. And I think that ended quite badly for it. And so I think generally what I'm kind of learning is that Prowess needs to win the early turns to have a real chance. Like, technically, I won this game 1 being a little bit grindy, but I sort of drew quite well and you didn't draw very well. And, like, the vibe coming out from that was like, oh, I escaped from this game with a win. And so I think generally Prowess needs to have a fast start is what I'm starting to learn.
Yeah, okay, that makes sense. So this is game 1. We intentionally started on the draw, and this was my first opening hand.
Yeah, this is a tough one on the draw. I think I probably can't keep this just because it literally can't do anything until turn 3 unless you draw the perfect stuff. And against Prowess on the draw, that's just like non-viable. So
Okay, I agree. I mulliganed.
Cool.
This was my second hand on 6 cards.
I think I keep this.
I kept this.
You have to be a bit optimistic and assume you draw like a blue source, but if you don't, yeah, you're not winning that game, but like a 2-lander that didn't draw a 3rd land also probably wouldn't win the game. And you have 2 Torch, which does buy you a lot of time, has a chance of stranding me without threats, like if I have a double Swift Spear draw or something.
I agree.
I think I like keeping this.
What do you bottom?
On 6. I wouldn't keep it on 7. Song pretty easily, I think.
Okay, yeah, I was between Talent and Song. I think I ended up bottoming Talent. I regret it now. I would bottom Song in the future. But I was just nervous that, like, if we didn't draw a blue source, at least I could cast Song. Now, it's not doing very much if you cast it, so I think that's why you should bottom it, but that was my logic. So I bottomed one of the talents, and you started with Island Pass, and I was like, oh, thank God, and then I drew a land. So then I played my Copperline Gorge, and I was like, oh, everything's gonna be totally fine. And then you played Drake-Catcher. And I was like, okay, yeah. So I can play a land, and let's see, I drew another land. I can play a land and Song for 1, and then try to kill the Drake-Catcher with only 1 torch, but that gives you a turn with it. And I was like, I absolutely don't want that to happen. That sounds terrifying. And so I decided to play my land and double torch.
Yeah. For what it's worth, I think Drake Hatcher was like dramatically better than Slickshot this game, or than Slickshot would have been. But still not. Yeah, like this is kind of a weird game, so I don't know how much to take from that.
Yeah, so then you played 2 ops and a land. And
I
I was
just needed
like,
to find threats because that was my only threat, and I was
yeah,
hoping you didn't have specifically double torch, and you did.
I think I said exactly, I think Ryan needs to find a threat. So then I drew Botanical Sanctum and I was like, my gosh, we're saved. Time to play stock up.
Incredible.
Okay, so there's some way. How do I? Is this one? Okay, so this was my stock up.
Mhm.
And this is when my brain started hurting.
I think this one's pretty easy. Like I think you just take Vitality into Tabe. You want to Tabe Talent Loop active, you want Vitality Song active, and like you want some interaction. Taking Tabe does that. I think like you'd be hoping to seek the beast into either of those cards, so you just take them.
Great, that's what I did.
Sweet.
Then you played things: Swift Spear,
Finally found a
Rage,
threat.
and then you left up 2 mana. You can see how much I thought about this game because I remember it so clearly. Then I drew another town. This turn I think was relatively straightforward. I mean, okay, I guess you have 2 arguments. I played Vitality Storm Chaser's talent because I felt like there was a very reasonable world where we block with Vitality. But you could also Song for 3.
Yeah, Song for Three is pretty reasonable. That lets you like do a lot next turn. Whereas this might be the turn where you need to take a lot of damage. I also don't think Vitality plus Talent is great at blocking here. Like I would like to block while leaving up to Tabe, and this just doesn't let me do that. I think I would probably Song and just accept that I'm taking some like 7 to 10 chunk of damage.
Okay. I was nervous that if I did that, that I wasn't going to be able to do enough, but maybe that was wrong. So I played
Yeah, I think
Talent
like if you
and
just present a decent block with to Tabe up, it's really hard for me to like do anything productive against that.
okay, that's good to know. I
That's
probably could have
that's
thought
my
about that.
idea.
Then, oh, this was
Yeah.
so bad. Then you played.
Oh yeah.
I
This is
played
really
made this game
interesting.
action, and then you drew a card. You played a Swiftspear, and you flood mod both of my creatures. And
Yep.
I was like, okay, great. They're in my hand again, and you attacked me for a lot. I think from here I like managed to stabilize. I think I cast Burst Lightning and then I recast the Vitality off the same like logic that I had the previous turn, except for I was like, oh, I probably need to take some amount of damage. Also, you had 0 cards in hand, and so the only
Yeah.
reason I was gonna need to like take damage was if you drew a spell.
Yeah, I
Um,
think so you can't really develop at all and leave up to Tabe here. So I think yeah, your best line is to just get rid of one of my threats. I'm out of cards. Hopefully I draw something that like most things get in an attack, but that's fine. You can fall to 5 or whatever and then like recover by going Song plus leave up town.
yep,
So
and that
I
was
think you
exactly what
definitely
I
want to get out of
did.
Vitality.
You drew a
Yeah,
talent, and then I was like, okay,
quite
well,
good.
yeah, I believe you bought back an opt, and then I took 3, because I figured I needed to have something, if I was going to be able to recover.
I think
Then I
that's
drew
very correct.
Tarnation Vista. Oh, I still have this talent over here. This talent was complicating a lot of things. I forgot it was
Yeah.
all the way over here. And so going into this turn, I had literally no idea what to do. This was the turn where I think I sat there for like 5 minutes talking about how all of them were like just kind of bad. Um,
Yeah, the song losing hasted end of turn is really bad here.
exactly. And then all
That's
of
the
the
big
other things
thing.
I wanted to do were capped by the fact that I only had 1 blue source unless I tapped my vitality.
Yeah,
So I don't even remember what I ended up
it's tough.
doing.
I I
But
don't I don't know what I would do here. It's really hard.
so in the yard we have Torch, Stock Up, and Burst Lightning as options to buy back. Um
Oh, I think I remember what you did. You played a big song and then just tamed otter token and talent and kind of hoped that like I couldn't kill you in one turn, which I think was right and just also incredibly scary.
Yeah,
Oh, wait, no, what you could do is
I
can
also
you
tried thinking in my head about songing for one to get an additional blue source, but it left you one short of casting Storm Chaser's talent and being able to hold up to tape.
yeah, that's tough. Um you could hold up two to tabes? No, no, that doesn't work. No, yeah, it does.
We have nothing. We can
You
bounce.
could do one to tape and hold up the second one, I guess.
If we hold up the
Uh,
second one, it requires bouncing our vitality.
yeah, but that might be fine. Because you're just doing it like after a block, right? Um, so I think that's a fine line, but you kind of want to make three rats. Like it's pretty important that you make three rats. Um, huh. This is really close. So just describing the line, right? Song for one, then to Tabe, uh, Talent, and Otter, and then you just pass. You block with Vitality, and then whatever spells I cast, you're just always going to Tabe, Vitality, and Swift Spear.
You
Then I
can
have to
seal it.
recast Swift Spear with like no board presence, and it no longer has Trample, which is really important. And then you like recast Vitality and Talent, but then you have like nothing else going on, which is a little bit tough. So I think this line's probably a little bit better, uh, even though you're kind of like dead to a really good sequence of spells on my side. I think I like your decision.
Then you drew Spear. You
And then
cast
I opt
Opt.
here in I opt into
Sleight
a
hand.
Force Steel Cutter and had to really tank on whether to put it top or bottom
Oh,
because it
sick.
made really good attacks, but it basically didn't do anything.
Oh yeah, you were.
And
I
I
remember you were
luckily
tanking for a
bottomed.
while. Then you got a
Yeah,
sleight of hand, which is like the best possible option. I'm forced to block here, or like anytime you drop burst lightning, I die. I think I did come to the
yep,
conclusion that you couldn't have burst lightning in as this card because then you would
that
burst
would have
lightning
affected
my
both.
otter and I would be dead.
Yep, yep,
But
totally agree.
actually no, that would yeah because of trample. So I didn't know you didn't have burst lightning yet, but I didn't think it was okay to put myself in burst lightning range,
I'm
and so
pretty
I
sure this
blocked.
attack strongly signals I do not have any kind of one mana spell because I would just be attacking with both.
Yeah, that was my logic.
And I think next turn you torch bargained targeting my 1/2 Swift Spear, and I think you should have targeted my 2/3 because of that.
Oh,
Just noting.
yeah, I was not sure. Okay, oh, this is the turn. Screw the torch
The
bargain for a
turn.
second. All right, I went to 4, and then I drew Songcrafter Mage.
Oh right, it was the following turn. I don't think it was this
This
turn.
broke me. It was way too many options. So now we have the option to level 2 Storm Chaser's talent. Our Tarnation Vista taps for 3. Um, and we have
What is in our
Songcrafter
yard?
Mage, and we have
Okay,
Torch,
that's
Stock
the
Up,
thing.
Burst Lightning, Songtown.
Ooh.
I don't know if
Oh
you
my
want to
god.
spend time
Okay.
thinking about this one on camera or if I should pause it just to let you stare at it for a second, but it was so hard. And I'm
So,
convinced I
okay,
didn't do the
just
right
running
thing.
through like what do we want to accomplish, right? Is it possible to deal with my entire board? I believe it is. And by deal with, I mean like for a turn, not have them be in combat. Because if you can do that, then I like you're progressing your game plan. Like every turn, you get more resources and I get fewer. And so I think what I want to do here is I think I want to level up talent, get back torch, torch 2/3, and then leave up town, planning on towning the 1/2. That I think
Okay,
is what I would do.
so I did exactly that, except for I
Oh
um
yeah, this was the torch. Yeah,
you
yeah, yeah.
made otters, I think. You cast stock up,
Yep.
and then you made otters, two of them, I think. Yes.
And so I saw Monstrous Rage, but I was like, there's no way that Nicole made that play after tanking a lot and like it doesn't have some tame or interactive spell. And so I was like, okay, we're definitely not just taking this rage and trying to kill her. We're making two otters to just have maximum
Yeah.
threat
So
count.
maybe just casting to tape was better. I think I over-indexed. I played Song. Crafter Mage and to
Yeah,
tape from my yard. Oh, okay. So what you didn't see was my scry was an analyze. I screwed up so bad. I was so upset after I
I
thinking
just saw
so
the
hard.
analyze. Yeah,
My analyze, I saw my scry the
you could have
analyze to the
analyzed for
top,
flood collar.
and
Yeah,
I could have analyzed for Flood Caller to win the following turn. But when I cast this Songcrafter Mage and cast the Tatabe in my yard, I put myself down to 7 in my yard.
right.
And I couldn't cast it to get Flood Caller. The
Oh
only way I
man.
could cast it to get Flood Caller was if I cast the
So
town, and then I lost my town to win the game with the Flood
right.
Caller.
So if you Songcrafter and cast like it doesn't matter, like torch or something, and then fall to 1, right? Because I have 5 power, then you just untap and kill me.
But I mean, I could also like, I could.
Although, do you kill me? I think I actually did that math, and you need another permanent to bounce with to Tabe to actually go infinite with the Flood Caller. So I think you actually don't kill me is the important thing.
Can Songcrafter do it?
No, because you're chumping with it.
So if I Tatabe here, right, I bounce this with Spirit and my Storm Chaser's talent.
Yeah.
Um, then on the
You
following
then,
turn, I
yeah.
draw Analyze, Analyze for Flood Caller. Um, and then I can tap my 3
You play Flood
creatures
Caller,
to
play
play Flood
Talent,
Caller.
and play Tabe.
I Tatabe, bouncing an Otter, and the talent.
So
Um,
you've got 1 Flood Caller trigger active,
yeah,
that, and
so
then 2 from the Tabe, 3 from the Talent coming back.
I have 1
Um,
black floating. No, I should cast the Flood Caller with Tarnation Vista. So,
yes.
um,
I
then
think mana is actually like not a barrier except in terms of going infinite. Um, so I think it's just about how many Flood Caller triggers can you get, because I don't think you can infinite, because you're making 3 mana. You're making 6 mana every loop, and the loop costs. Oh, it costs 6, so maybe you are going infinite. 1, 2,
my brain.
3. Oh god, Otters is so hard, and this is like relevant to how you should play this combat. Oh my god. Um, I think you actually are going infinite because you tap for 3, you pay 1, level up talent, get back to Tabe, then you have oh god.
My brain
Yeah, I
can't
think you
follow
have enough
anymore.
floating to start it, and then once you have that, your loop costs 4 to level up talent and 2 to cast a Tabe. Oh no, but then it costs 7 because you're recasting talent. So it's 5 plus 2, so you are not going infinite. So then the question becomes, how many Flood Caller triggers do you get? And I think the answer is 4, maybe 5. Um, and each Flood Caller trigger is 1, 2, 3, 4 damage. So I think that is lethal because you're bouncing 2 Otters. Yes. Okay, I'm becoming convinced that you had lethal. Uh, but it's really close. And I'm like 5 to 10 steps down the like
I
line, and I might have messed
I
one
think
up.
my biggest problem is I just can't like follow this enough in my head. Like now that we're sitting
Yeah.
here, right? I could get there talking out loud with somebody else, like checking every word I say. I could probably get there, but I am not capable of computing this much in my brain.
Yeah.
So,
Very fair, and especially on like arena time or in a real tournament where you have to make a decision with it like less than 2 minutes.
yeah, and
Yeah,
then I
you can't
screwed up
really make that
the
call.
following turn by just like not leaving up a blocker, and then I think you drew like the max punishment and it was like rage.
Yeah, I'm kind of amazed that I won this game. I did have the rage actually for multiple turns. I think it was in my hand currently. I just like didn't. Yeah,
Oh,
I
it
drew
was
the cutter
steel
at the
cutter,
end.
yeah, and then I couldn't
Yeah,
because I had left up.
yeah,
Ooh, I left up to Tabe when I made the attack. The attack was bad, but I left up to Tabe because I was like, oh, I can just bounce the otter
Two
and like you
things,
have Swift
right?
Spear.
Then I made three
Oh
things.
yeah, I left up enough to bounce 2 things, and then you made 3 things, and I died.
Yeah. What a
Very sad.
game. Yeah, so I believe that should have been an Otters victory,
I agree.
but like very, very close.
And I learned that I should not register this deck at a tournament because this one match absolutely broke my brain. I do not think I could survive 9 rounds of
Oh my
this.
goodness.
So anyway, I hope
The
everyone had a
rest
lot
of
of
the match was
fun.
great, but that was enough of VOD review, I think, for one day.
Yeah, I agree. So thank you everybody for watching. Thank you Ryan for being here. I hope that this is useful information to everybody. This is kind of how our testing process happens. Once we have one deck, there's a lot of, playing matches to kind of solve any problems to get, our win rate as high as we can. But a lot of our testing matches just happen by, picking up decks and doing VOD reviews on both sides. That's how you find out that decks are being played to their max ability. One of the other things we'll do during testing, we started doing this a lot with the last Pro Tour, is we'll get 4 people and we'll put 2 people on each side of a match. And that way there's 2 people talking about every game action. And that helps both people, I think, kind of start seeing different lines and kind of get the game to a place where it's being played as optimally as possible. And that's kind of how we approach the testing process to utilize our time the best we can. And so I hope you enjoyed this. Thank you, Ryan, for being here. If you want to support Ryan, you can do so by following their Patreon in the description. Ryan has been absolutely pivotal to all of Sanctum's testing practices and things like that. And so, Ryan, thank you for being here. Thank you for sharing your information. Um, yeah, if you want to support
Thanks for
me,
having me.
you can do that by liking, commenting, subscribing on this video. It really helps. And, I also have a Metafy link down below that has, some of my thoughts. One of the things I'll talk about going into this event is, the deck I decided to play and what I did to learn it and get better at it over, the 4 or 5 days that I had to make that decision. That's something I'll explore on my Metafy. And, with that, I will see you guys for the next video.